Doing our midweek preview a little bit different, doing it from Coach Rhodes' house. Now, here just outside Itchy Jones Stadium as the Salukis, they'll be hitting the road to Missouri State on Wednesday morning due to the series getting moved up to Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Springfield for the final weekend of the season. We're catching up with Coach Rhodes here, just fresh off of the win against Bellarmine here in the midweek. But obviously, Coach, I mean, you want to start off your week the right way. You want to take care of business in a midweek. Your team did that tonight as we talk and we record this. And you got a lot of different guys in. I think, above all, you want to win the game. But how much better is it knowing you head into the final week and you're heading into a season when it's do or die and your season's on the line, anybody's going to be ready to go.
Yeah, no, I wanted to play our guys who needed to play at the beginning because I wanted them to get some at-bats going into the weekend. We did exactly what I wanted to do, spread out the lead and obviously get as many guys into the game as we possibly could. Like you said, you never know when we're going to need big pinch hit at-bats, when we're going to need somebody to step in if somebody happens to get injured in a certain situation. So we got to keep those guys ready as well. So it was nice that every single bench player that we had offensively got into the game. Also nice too, with Nate Bandy the ankle, Lodi the ankle, being able to get some of those guys out, rest those guys as well, and then really some guys on the mound that needed to touch the mound who haven't touched it for a long time. We were able to get them the work in too, while also not using the guys that we did not want to use. So it was kind of a really good combination throughout the night, and so I'm glad that we were able to finish off the home part of our season with a win, and very happy that we were able to kind of spread out the playing time there tonight as well.
It's one of those things, Coach Rhodes, where probably maybe the ultimate answer is still to be determined. But I know the weekend did not start off the way you wanted to against Bradley, and you're always upfront with your team. I think no matter the result, you tell them like it is each and every night. You were really upfront with them after Friday night's loss to Bradley. That is not the standard that you have for your team. And you said there's going to be changes tomorrow in the lineup, and there was. And then the guys that usually started came back in. I think you saw a different approach for them in that game and a different approach the rest of the weekend. You'd like to see that continue to ride out for the rest of the year, and everything really goes off of that move. But for you, why was that so important, especially just after the Friday game against Bradley, to really make a message that Saturday and then see your team ultimately respond the way they did?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that moment my biggest disappointment was we all aren't happy with how the season has played out because we had higher expectations than what we've done. But at that moment, at the end of that game, it almost felt like our guys were just throwing in the towel and saying, man, like, it just isn't going our way. And they had just, some mopey, feel sorry for yourself mentality. And in my opinion, like, it's just unacceptable because, yeah, it's not going the way we wanted to go, but we still have a lot to play for. We still have big, meaningful games. We have a weekend at Missouri State. We still had that series right there. And we got the ultimate prize of the conference tournament that could get us into a regional. And our season, even though we're not happy with our record, if we would catch fire and play really well in the conference tournament and win that conference tournament, it would change our feelings of this season tremendous. And we still have that to look forward to. We've got the ability to do it, and that was my message is man, with this mentality that we have right now, we got no shot. And that's why I said I'm going to mix up this lineup because I wasn't happy with seeing that type of effort out of the same group of people. So I was just going to give other people an opportunity and. Just really just make our guys appreciate we only have a few games left. Play your butt off. It's not acceptable to go out and, the team in the other dugout, they don't feel sorry for us at all. They want us to have that mentality out there on the field. They want you to feel sorry for yourself and because every single team that you compete against, I mean, they want to win just like we want to win. So, if we ever face a team with that mentality, I love it. We'll just jump all over. We'll take every win we can get from a team like that. So, it was more just about we can't be feeling sorry for ourselves because things haven't gone exactly as planned.
And then when you send that message and you fall behind and things aren't going well that second game, yet you come back and win. Same thing on Sunday. You fall behind. You got to dig yourself out. That, to me at least, speaks, I think, to your group of being able to still find ways to grit out games even when you're not playing your best. Because it's easy when you're trying to send a message, things aren't going well, and that next game starts to dip a little bit. It could have really spiraled out of control, but it did not. How big was that just for you as the leader to see your team really bounce back? And, man, they didn't just bounce back and just score a few runs, to come back and really take control of that game.
Yeah, no, it was there were times in that dugout there in the third, fourth innings there where I was I wasn't showing it on the outside, but on the inside the heart was beating a little bit, thinking, man, this is going to be a tough one here if we don't come back and get this. And again, whether whether it was the message, whatever it was, I mean, we finally had the guys go into the game and step up and perform the way that they can perform. And, that's just what we got to have. And, some of the key pieces to that, and hopefully they're going to continue, but, Bennett Althoff really stepped up. We need him to have, another big weekend at Missouri State. We need him to go into the conference tournament and have a big weekend. I think Bach swinging the bat better. We still got to get CC going. Hopefully, Cole can feel better over the weekend and feel good going into the conference tournament. But if we can, every one of these guys who has scuffled, kind of got hot, you look back to the beginning of the season. These are the same guys pretty much that were playing. And we were hot basically 1 through 9. And, I mean, we were scorching the ball, putting, I think we had 14 runs in 4 straight games. So when I think back to that, that's what I have hope for, for a week long in the conference tournament. I have hope that we can get, hot 1 through 9. And it's because I've seen it happen. You've probably seen teams do it before. And, like I said, if I really didn't feel like we had the talent level to do it, then I wouldn't, sell it so hard. But I know when we put that lineup 1 through 9 together, and the pitching staff that we have, if we catch fire at the right time in that conference tournament, we have just as likely of a chance to win that thing as anybody there.
We talked about it on the field following that game on Saturday. There were multiple areas where you could have looked at. You mentioned a lot of those guys' names, and you mentioned the bats. But maybe more than anything, how big was the energy that Jake Combs was able to get on the mound to start getting outs. Then the offense started clicking. But then at times this year where there's been times maybe where the offense picks it up, unfortunately you can't get outs on the other end, but Jake just kept getting outs for you, and I think that just gave everybody a lot of confidence in that dugout.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of one of those things where it's been like a slow build for Combs over probably the last 2 or 3, 4 outings where it's gotten a little bit better every time. And I think it was almost one of those things that in the dugout kind of the momentum was building as it's like we see inning after inning after inning to where that was the Combs that everybody expected to see. And it's like, man, okay, we might have something here. And, he just kept throwing zero. And, Combs is kind of a kid that, I don't know if you guys can see it from afar, but he's got a little swagger to him when he's out there, when he's kind of rolling a little bit. And, it's kind of nice to see that because that's what he had all last year, It's like he's one of those guys where almost if he's not on your team, he probably kind of irritates you a little bit because you're like, man, this guy's like, kind of strutting around out there and everything. But it's nice to see him have that back. And, again, I think he's going to be a kid who like we talked about before, we needed somebody to really step up in the conference tournament. I think he's going to be a kid that really does it for us.
Well, you talk about your team and having the confidence and the ability of really getting hot at the right time, the conference tournament. I think a team you think of offensively that can really get hot too is Missouri State, the team you're going to see to end the year. I know Coach Keith Gutton in his last year, they're not where they want to be, but you just look at probably raw talent, skill, ability, up and down a lineup card. I mean, I know it doesn't show in the conference standings, but I know that may be hard for even maybe other broadcasters, maybe hard for fans to see, but that's not what you as coaches look at. It's not what players look at. You guys watch film, you look at, yes, the raw data, but when you see Missouri State, I know, and I know it may seem cliche, but it's not an 8th place team in the league that you look at because they are more than capable with the skill set that they have to have a really hot weekend and carry that into a conference tournament next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at their offense, the numbers that they possess, the amount of home runs that they hit. I mean, they're hitting almost 2+ home runs a game. And I think you look at that too. You look at the weekend; they're going to be celebrating Coach Gutton all weekend, that type of thing. So there's the players obviously are going to have a little bit more effort to win on his last weekend. So hopefully our guys kind of take the pride to go in there and in sports you kind of need to be the spoiler sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. We got to go in there and we got to kind of take that weekend from them, even though with all the things that are going on, go in there and we'll have to play really well. But it's also going to be a weekend, I think, not only on our side but their side too, because where we're at as far as we're both playing on Tuesday, I think there's going to be a lot of 1 inning, 2 inning, 3 inning max, switch it to the next pitcher. And I don't even know, I haven't talked with them yet. I don't know if we'll see their best pitcher or not. And that's kind of where we're at too. I don't even know if, at this point, if Fuller will throw on the weekend, potentially just setting him up to get ready to go on Tuesday. So we'll have to kind of confirm all that stuff as we get going. But I'm sure they'll be in a similar boat. Like if we do see Thompson, their best guy, we probably are going to see him for a very short amount of time. So it's going to be a thing where every guy that goes out there, needs to, punch tickets for, 3, 6 outs, 9 outs max, probably move it to the next guy. And, along with that too, does probably come some a little bit higher scoring games. So we're going to need to swing the bats. I doubt there's going to be many 3-1, 3-2 ball games.
Is that where, not to say you want to set up any better, but you're going to be on the road for the rest of the season in the conference tournament and so forth. After that, you need that offense to get going. So on a weekend where maybe it could be prone to runs, is that kind of a good lead up, as at least what you hope for? It can be a lead up for the conference tournament of where you're going to need everything. You're going to need your offense, and you're going to obviously need the pitcher well.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's a good ballpark to hit in.
Yeah.
So, one, it's just like when you walk in there, you kind of feel good about yourself.
Yes.
It makes you feel good as a player to play in that park. And then the dimensions are fair to a hitter to hit in as well. So depending on how the wind is blowing and the temperatures and things like that, I mean, that's why it's such a nice place to hit in. So there could be multiple reasons why it's a great offensive weekend. But again, I'm sure it'll come down to whoever has balance, whoever has pitching to go along with some of that offense and defense too. Which that's the thing, when you look at their defensive numbers, sometimes they give you an extra out or two every now and then too. Hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of that. So, but it'll be a tough weekend. It will, no doubt about it, because they can swing the bats and they can score runs with the best of them in our league. So we'll have to put runs on the board for sure.
Not to say that it's not results-based, Coach Rhodes, because it is. Like you said, you at least get one win. You're going to be in the 6-7 game, depending on exactly how that all falls. To behind is also the other results that go on the weekend. But as you really said, and your message I don't think has changed much the last couple of weeks with your team. It's just, you kind of said at the start, just want to feel better about yourselves going to the conference tournament. Is just putting, yes, you want good results this weekend. You want guys to play well, but as the bottom line, even whether you win all 3, you lose all 3, you win one of the 3, that you as a team just want to feel better about yourselves when you get on that bus back and ultimately when you head over to Evansville on Monday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and lie about it either. I mean, you feel better when you win. So, you know, do we want to go over there and put a bunch of runs on the board, shut them down, do all those things? No doubt about it. But, you know, if we get in there and we play a bunch of tight 7-6, 7-5 ball games, and we come out on the losing end of all of those. That's going to be tough. You know, we need to win because that's the way it's going to. Those gritty type of games. I mean, that's what we're staring down over. You know, the next probably hopefully 8 games that we're going to be playing is those games, because whenever you step on the field on Tuesday. Every player's awareness is going to be heightened a little bit. And, you know, if you got any baseball savviness to you at all, you know, those games, they bring out the best in everybody. They bring out the competitive nature in everybody. And, you know, it seems like those games are always close in the conference tournament. And it's a play, it's a pitch, it's a swing. It's just one little instance that kind of swings the game in one direction. So, you know, hopefully this weekend will get us in that kind of mode. And then also, to every single guy that we have on our roster is probably going to pitch in this weekend at some point, especially on the pitching side of it too. So everybody will have game reps going into the conference tournament, and which is going to be important because we're going to have to play 5 games. And, you know, 5 games is going to mean a lot of people are going to be touching the mound, and that's okay. The good thing is it's a tough format to go through 5 games, but I've seen a team do it.
Yeah.
I've seen a team in Missouri State do it against us a couple years ago. And so I know it can be done, which, you know, sometimes when you look at things and it's never been done before, it kind of makes you a little, man, I just don't know if it can happen. But when you've seen it in your own conference and you've been on the field when a team has done it, it gives you that hope that why not us? So, you know, I still feel like we're gonna do it. I really do, and you know, I hope we play well to give ourselves that opportunity.
Coach Rhodes, appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend in Springfield, and we'll catch up with you briefly early next week before I head over to Evansville.
Sounds good. Thank you.